Video can often feel kind of just generic. It's video, it's TV, it's broadcasted, it's transmitted.
These days, police authorities have little regard for Miranda rights or search warrants. Surveillance companies are making millions selling rumors of your peccadillos.
I definitely think my work is handmade, and I like the raw, clunky, lo-fi aesthetic of it.
You need the home stereo hide outfit. No one would think of looking behind a stack of records and hi-fi gear. Easy to build, all materials supplied, records not included.
I somehow discovered, wow, I'm gravitating to puppets. It's like, they're like actors, they're like humans, but you could just make them out of things. They're under my directorial will. It all starts with this, a magazine. In this case, Perry Match, if you're not familiar with it, was kind of the Life magazine of Europe. So I've cut out something that's probably from a magazine like that. And these are some characters I'll use. I like working with this found material. It's also really hard to make it come to life and have it say something and feel like something. And that challenge I like. Take a paper clip, bend it out, cut off a little piece. Then I just scotch tape that piece of paper clip right on the back, just like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. We take the magic wand, which just happens to be a piece of wood. I like to use chopsticks a lot, and then I tape a magnet on it. Put the magnet side on the other side of our screen. Take our character that's got the metal piece on. Now, the magnet's holding this image up on the screen, and I can actually move it around. The mermaid's got her little star of Cancer that she's moving through the EMF field, and she's probably bringing it home to you. A person can blink their eye and you could have that mean something. Well, it's hard to look at a frozen image of someone cut out of a magazine and have it emote something, or have people have empathy for it. Pat and I both make a lot of phone recordings as well as collecting phone recordings. And when he makes them, sometimes they're in the form of prank calls.
I got a bunch of couches here, but the only way to do it, see, I've got about 10 or 12 of them. The only way to do is you have to come to the store. When people ask me to move my store to them, it just doesn't work that way.
They're the kind of prank call where the person doesn't know they're being pranked and may never know. And to us, that's a successful prank call.
If I took a picture right now and send it to you, by the time the picture got there, the couch is gone. Now what do I do?
Well, is there any way that you could put it like Mail Express, or if you're down in the area, bring it by?
No.
Because I can't get out of the house, you know. I have no transportation.
This kind of mythic idiot, Don, is trying to call this other guy who owns a furniture store, used furniture store, and he wants to get a couch, but he doesn't want to come to the store at normal hours to get it, and he just keeps calling the store guy to see if there's other arrangements that can be made to buy this couch.
You must have some friend that you could get him into a car, get in a car and come down and pick what you want, then I'll deliver it to you.
Okay.
See, there's no other way.
Okay.
If there was another way, I'd do it.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, see, that's impossible to do what you're asking.
We purposely let you see the wires, like the way we lit it was to not like make it a seamless shadow play, but just really clunky and crude, and yet there's certain movements and articulations that are perfectly anthropomorphic, really feel like human gestures and responses.
If you got a guy you're willing to send from there in a truck up to here to take it back for you to look at it, why couldn't you jump in the truck and come with him and look at it here? You tell me why you can't do that.
Well, I'm going to be busy that day.
All the puppets were made with cardboard and masking tape and like fishing line. I really like working with this found material aesthetic because it's inexpensive. I can do it in my living room or my garage.
You got me believing you're playing a game. You know, you're somebody that's just got nothing to do but play games.
No.
Well?
I'm sorry.
I don't need to necessarily wait for other people to give me the permission by giving me the money to make something. I can go ahead and make something right away and say something and tell stories, work with imagery, and make something fast.
In our house, we used the back door all the time to come and go. We never went through the front door. So there were two big occasions that the front door was used. When Bruce came home from the hospital, they brought him through the front door. And when the TV arrived, they brought that through the front door. So it's a very vivid memory of those two things, and somehow they might be tied together somehow.
The presence of Japanese on TV were as enemies of, during World War II, and that was the biggest presence of the representation of Japanese people.
They would show war films on television, and the next day all the kids would be talking about the Japs. And of course, while I was watching the war films, you're identifying with the white people killing the Japs.
In a strange way, I sort of identified more with villains than with heroes. In Flash Gordon, for example, Norman would always want to play Flash Gordon, because he was blonde and the hero and everything, but I never wanted to play Flash Gordon. I always wanted to play Ming, because Ming, of course, was Asian and also had these incredible powers.
Hollywood is a hyperbolic dream state, very close to surreal. It's not reality, and everything is exaggerated. It's like being in a dream. We try to be subversive and break that surface. I mean, it's glossy, shiny, shimmering surface. The more closer I get to the real thing, to make it look like the real thing, the more jarring the rupture is. Okay, the reason why we want to wake our audiences out of that dream is so that they know that the media isn't reality. Because when they're thrown out into reality, back in the movie theater or back in the auditorium or the gallery. Then they can compare the two. Just a second before, they were in this dream somewhere, this beautiful dream state, and now all of a sudden they're in the gallery.
Vault is built around the idea of childhood traumas and how childhood trauma determines our adult life, or who we are as adults.
It'll be all right, baby. Daddy and I promise.
When you wake up, I'll be the first thing you see. I promise, Princess.
I went around and to all my friends and asked them what their childhood trauma was. So many of the traumas portrayed in Vault are real traumas.
Now, Vault uses cliches, nothing but cliches. Every shot's a cliche. And the thing is, we've seen these images so often that we know all the information that comes with the image. So in Vault, we could show an image like for 5 seconds, and the audience gets all that information because it has it already.
We knew the structure that we wanted, which was the structure of a TV commercial, in that there would be a major technical event every 3 to 6 seconds. Camera move, music cue, cut.
In 10 minutes, we produce a piece that has as much information as most Hollywood 90-minute films have. In fact, most Hollywood films should be 10 minutes long. They would be more enjoyable, at least for me.
Working with Germany's ZDF Television and the United States National Endowment for the Arts, Kyodai Productions is in Tinseltown to tell the tale of 3 dreamers on a pilgrimage to fame and fortune.
And many people ask, why do you stay in Los Angeles to produce work? Because it seems like the worst place to try to produce experimental work.
Irving likes the script.
Script? What script? So many changes, I swear a mother wouldn't recognize it. Next thing, they're making a musical out of it.
Matt, this is our first picture. It's a $20 million movie. We have to make some concessions. That's the way it is.
Since there are so many creative people in Hollywood that are kept from producing artwork, they are very happy to collaborate with me on my work, and because they want to produce something that is different from the traditional Hollywood product.
We were deconstructing the Hollywood narrative form all the time. We would dismantle stories, we would dismantle the plot, we would take characters out of the story and put them in a space, who knows where they were. Like the end of Made in Hollywood, Matt goes to find Tammy in her small town somewhere. And when he finds her, he calls her.
Tammy.
She sees him, and she's at her granny's graveside. And the camera tracks back with her as she's walking toward Matt, and it turns out she's on a set. We want people to be thrown out so they can think about what they were doing right before they were thrown out.
Come back with me, Tammy.
Where were they? They were in this dream somewhere, and then we try to wake them up. That's what the rupture is waking them out of that dream.